My dad kicked me out of the house at the age of 9 and told me, "You want to be a man? Well, you go out there and learn how to be a man." And so I did. I had to live in alleys, live in street ways. Live in cars, live anywhere I could. The police wake us up because we live on the sidewalks. They wake us up at 6 o'clock in the morning and order us up, pack up our things, our little belongings such as blankets, toiletries, clothing, and things like that. But if you're smart, you would save water bottles. You would go along, somewhere and collect water bottles so that you can wash up in the morning and, at least wash your face, comb your hair, shave, and whatever else you have to do. Okay, now your next step is, okay, now what am I going to eat? Well, you either have to go and ask around if some of these places, such as Central Market, if you can help unload some of the trucks, or if you can help some of the people carry their groceries or their packages to their car, or helping a person across the street, or even giving some kind of information to another person that's willing to give you a helping hand, or even drop a dime in your hand or a nickel. Okay, and if not, then you'll have to go around panhandling. And there's a lot of people that'll ask, well, what do you want the dime for? Which I think is wrong, because if a person asks you for, even if it's a penny, it shouldn't matter what that person is going to use it for. The first understanding is that this person is in need. When we're rejected for whatever reason it may be, we put ourselves in a state of depression, and then after feeling depressed, man, we feel that we stress our own selves out because somebody walked past us and were inconsiderate, didn't say excuse me, or they stepped on your newly shined shoes, or they were walking with a cup of coffee and accidentally bumped into you, man, and instead of saying excuse me, they just, stood there and looked at you and said, "Oh, well," and walked away from you, Well, then those kind of things would, that makes you angry, man. So the next thing you want to do is go out and hurt somebody, People judge you by the way you dress, if you're dirty because you've been living in the streets, which, you're going to be dirty no matter, you just standing on a corner. You got dust flying around, you're gonna get dirty. Wherever you sit, you're gonna get dirty. So it's wrong to judge a person by, the way they look, And then we got the upper class areas, And then of course, if you're a curb creature as I am, you're not gonna walk into them areas, because the minute, dressed the way you are, you walk into that area and people just look at you, and the first thing they're gonna think, man, hey, this guy's gonna try to rob me, or he's gonna try to burglarize my car or my home. Let's call the police. At the age of 5, a 9-year-old girl taught me what any grown-up knew about sex. She taught me how to screw her, how to go down on her, At the time I was 9, I was already using hard drugs. I've done it all, from marijuana to, let's go from alcohol to marijuana, from marijuana to popping pills, from popping pills to sniffing glue, from sniffing glue to sniffing gas, from sniffing gas to hard drugs, heroin. I had a fight with my dad because my dad beat up my mom. One day I came home from school, I found my mom. I went to tell my parents that I was going to leave with my friends. And as I opened the door to their bedroom, man, I seen the worst thing that I could ever see. My dad beating up my mother. He was beating her like she was some kind of man, you know, with closed fists, and he was just knocking her all around, man. And one day, you know, we stole a pickup. Well, when it came time to go to court, the judge asked my parents, we could let your child go home should you want him home. And my mother cried with happiness. I mean, you know, it brings tears to my eyes, remembering how happy she was, you know, that I was coming home. But then in just in the same instant, my love switches, the love that I was feeling in my heart switched to hate, because my dad said, "No, Your Honor, I don't want him home." I mean, that was like sticking a knife in my heart, man. I went from juvenile hall to camp to boys homes, from boys homes to boys republics, to youth authority, from youth authority to the county jail, from the county jail to county camps, and then from county camps to state prison, from state prison to state camps. So I mean, my whole life, you know, I've been state raised. You know, that's the only kind of life I know, is prison life, man. And so, you know, a lot of times, I find it hard to cope with the outside life, because I'm used to dealing with people in prison, you know, the hard way, you know. So when you come out here to the free world, you know, people are so inconsiderate, as I said, you know. It's hard to deal with life out here, you know. It's hard to get a job because of my prison record, you know. The minute, and not only because of my prison record, but because of my drug abuse. And so, you know, I don't get hired because of the way I look, or because of the things I've done throughout my life. People shouldn't hold other people's past against them as mine has been held against me. I think that we should all try to be a little fair with people in general. Instead of misunderstanding people, let's try to understand and have a little more compassion, have some kind of feelings, man. I mean, you know, what does the Bible tell us, you know? Love thy neighbor as you love thyself, man. I mean, you know, a lot of people preach that, but I think we all need to practice that, you know. Let's stop being selfish, man, and do what our heart tells us to do, not what our mind tells us to do. You know, one might ask himself, or may wonder, you know, why are you out here? You know, or I might ask myself, what am I doing out here? You know, well, you know, it's as I said, it's because of the background that's all behind me now that society won't let me forget.